I feel like every year we're getting more and more comic book movies, and 2022 is further proof of that. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my ranking of all the 2022 comic book movies based on how excited I am for them. Now, I like to talk about speculation for these movies. We've got a bunch of DC and Marvel movies, animated and live action on both ends that are coming out this year. So there's going to be quite a few things to talk about. Basically just me gushing about what I'm excited for, what I'm not excited for. But before I get into this ranking, make sure to hit that like button. Comment the comic book movies you are most excited to check out this year in the comments down below. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my comic book movie coverage this year. So without further ado, let's get into this thing. And last place for me is DC's League of Super Pets. Now, this has The Rock in the main role, but if I'm being honest with you, this doesn't look like anything other than a fun and cute kids movie. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, if I went and saw this, I wouldn't dread my time with it, but it's just not really something I'm that much anticipating compared to the other movies on the list. Next is going to be Aquaman 2. Now, I like the first Aquaman. It's very self-aware of what it is, and that is an extremely cheesy movie with some over-dramatic tones to it, and that movie has its visually stunning moments, as well as its moments that look like PlayStation 2 cutscenes, so hopefully Aquaman 2 can capitalize on the good visuals from the first movie and take those into this. I like Jason Momoa in the role, so I'm sure he'll do a fine job here. It's just not a movie that I'm highly anticipating compared to a lot of the other ones on this list. Next up is the Batgirl movie, which I am kind of skeptical that it's not even going to come out this year because it doesn't have a set in stone release date. It just says 2022, but I guess we'll see what happens with it. Leslie Grace is cast as Batgirl. She's obviously in the Heights, and she crushes it there. I really am intrigued to see how this movie ties into the overall DC universe because we're already getting another Batman-related film this year, so I don't really know what DC's vision is with having so many Batman-related things going on, especially with the use of Michael Keaton and Batfleck coming back in the Flash movie, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. It's just kind of getting a little convoluted and confusing, so while I think a Batgirl movie could work, I'm just very skeptical. Next on my list is Morbius, which as of the day I'm filming this, it actually just got delayed from January 28th of this year to April 1st of this year, which goes into a whole theory that I'm going to talk about in a second. Spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. But the main reason I'm excited for Morbius is because it could possibly tie into Spider-Man, notably Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man 3. All over Twitter, Make TASM 3 is trending. Everyone wants to see Andrew Garfield return as Spider-Man simply because Andrew Garfield stole the show in that movie and everyone is clamoring for another feature film starring Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and if you've seen that Morbius trailer, there's actually graffiti of a Spider-Man on the wall behind Morbius when he's walking, and it says murderer, so a lot of people, including myself, have put the pieces together to say maybe this is actually in the same time period after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man stopped pulling his punches, and he's really going for it being a brutal, vengeance-filled Spider-Man. That would be something that I would love to see hinted at in this movie, and then they possibly set up The Amazing Spider-Man 3 in a post-credit scenes, because I know they're probably going to be doing reshoots if the movie is now getting pushed to April 1st, and just like with Venom 2 doing reshoots and getting delayed last minute to add in that post-credit scene that tied into No Way Home, I think Morbius could definitely do something that ties in to an Amazing Spider-Man 3, or hell, even a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. I think the hype surrounding this movie basically generates from the fact that we've seen Michael Keaton's Vulture, Oscorp, and a Spider-Man graffiti. Next on my list is Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever. This movie I'm very curious about, mainly because I'm not sure how they're going to handle it moving forward. I know there's probably going to be a very emotional funeral sequence for T'Challa in the movie, commemorating both the loss of T'Challa in the MCU as well as Chadwick Boseman in real life, and it's going to be one of the more emotional and powerful scenes in the MCU, but the actual story concerns me just because I know they had an original vision and they had to completely flip shop after the tragic events occurred. I don't know what their plan is moving forward. To me, it seems like they're not really going to have a set-in-stone Black Panther, which I think they should do. I think they should just put someone in the mantle, but I'm worried with the whole Letitia Wright thing going on behind the scenes that this could just turn into, oh, let's have a new Black Panther every movie, and that's not what I would hope for. I'm not sure what I would do if I was Kevin Feige. It's a very tough call, but I'm just curious about how this is going to go moving forward. I know Ryan Coogler's coming back to direct, so that's a plus. I'm just a little concerned about Black Panther 2. Next on my list is going to be The Flash, which is a movie that has a ton of speculation surrounding it that it could possibly erase the DCEU as we know it and get rid of Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, all movies that there are a ton of fans of, but Warner Brothers doesn't really vibe with Zack Snyder's vision. That's why they obviously parted ways. I'm very, very curious to see what this movie actually does because it's bringing in Michael Keaton's Batman as well as Batfleck. I bet they're probably going to kill Ben Affleck's Batman in this movie because that's the only way I could see him coming back at this point. I don't really know what their vision is here. I'm not sure if they're going to go like Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home route, where they bring in a bunch of prior characters to try and make massive changes to the universe. I am not sure what it's going to entail. I am intrigued though, especially with the fact that there's going to be 2 Batmen in this movie. Like, what the hell's going on with that? Who knows? I just hope it doesn't do too much damage to DC's overall vision. Just above The Flash is Black Adam, The Rock's first superhero role, so of course I'm going to be pretty amped for that. He's been hyping it up for years now on social media, but if you see the footage from DC Fandom, this looks brutal and badass. Black Adam's not here to mess around. I feel like that man could take down Shazam. He could even put up a damn good fight against Henry Cavill's Superman. He looks jacked, and I think this movie is going to be a darker DC film that still has like the fun Shazam vibes. I hope it can balance the tones. I'm kind of concerned about that actually, but I think Black Adam is going to give Shazam a run for his money whenever they meet up down the road. Next, we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. I love the first Spider-Verse movie. Most people do, and a lot of people would say it's objectively the best Spider-Man movie. I wouldn't say it is. I think No Way Home's a little better and a few others, but there's no denying the greatness of the first Spider-Verse movie, so obviously the hype is going to be real for this one. We got that first look teaser trailer back in December of 2021, and it looks like it's going to have a lot of the same coming-of-age vibes, the feel-good vibes. It's going to introduce even more Spider-Man, and it's going to have even more grand settings, it looks like. I know the visuals in this movie are going to be stunning, straight off the comic book like they were in that first movie. Spider-Verse 2 is actually part 1 of 2 of Across the Spider-Verse, so who knows what the hell they could be doing here. They could be going bigger and better. We could possibly even see like Tom Holland's Spider-Man voice a variant of Spider-Man in this movie. There's really no telling, and I'm pretty excited for this movie. Next up for me is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder. I've said this multiple times, but this movie has the Guardians of the Galaxy, Christian Bale is the main villain, Russell Crowe in the role, Jane Foster coming back as Mighty Thor, and Taika Waititi coming back to direct. All 5 of those things, combined with the fact that we haven't seen a Thor movie post-Endgame, has me amped, over the moon excited for this one. It's got a perfect July release date. It's going to be a summer hit at the box office, and people are going to eat this one up. I could see it being the best Thor movie by far, and one of the better MCU movies. Arguably the most beloved MCU movie of 2022. My runner-up for the comic book movie of 2022 that I'm most excited for is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Again, this movie is going to have madness that ensues. It's going to be utterly insane, just like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, and I'm sure it's going to bring in past characters from like the Fox X-Men movies. Maybe we'll see some Spider-Man appear again, maybe some Fantastic Four characters. There's no telling what they could pull out of the portals in this movie, and I can't wait to check it all out. Plus the fact that Wanda is going to have more of a villainous role. Mordo is coming back from the first Doctor Strange movie. We're introducing America Chavez. This movie has so many positives working for it that it's hard to see a world or scenario where this movie fails. Like, out of the 14,605 scenarios Doctor Strange saw in Infinity War, there's one where they win. I don't even think there's one scenario where this movie failed. It's going to be a box office hit. It's going to be one of the craziest MCU hits, and it could just be the best MCU movie. But the comic book movie for 2022 that I am the most excited for is The Batman. This is the first time we're getting a Batman movie since The Dark Knight Rises in theaters. It's been 10 years. We've got Robert Pattinson playing Batman, one of the best actors working in Hollywood today. Matt Reeves coming off the success of the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes films. It looks like it's going to be brutal as hell, straight out of like the Arkham video games, which I'm a massive fan of. It's got detective vibes. The score is going to be immaculate. I'm sure there's going to be some twists and turns in this movie that we don't see coming. I don't think it's going to be a run-of-the-mill generic intro Batman film. It looks like it's going to be something really, really special based on all the trailers we saw. I mean, that first Batman trailer was a masterpiece. Like, that alone set this movie up for success. There were people saying when that trailer dropped in 2020 that Robert Pattinson's already the best Batman, and this is already the best Batman movie. So if your trailer's that damn good, I believe the movie will also be that damn good, unless you're 2016 Suicide Squad, which we don't talk about. But The Batman comes out March 4th, literally 2 months from today. My hype is through the roof. I don't want to see another piece of footage. I think Paul Dano's Riddler is going to be such a menacing villain, and I'm ready to see this cat and mouse game between Bruce Wayne and the Riddler. There's no way this movie's going to disappoint us, right? I mean, the hype is set so high. It's not even a part of the DCEU, it's just its own standalone thing, which is what DC needs to do more because they have such a messy universe right now. But The Batman is a movie that I cannot wait to see. The trailers have won me over fully. I am sold on Pattinson, and this could just be the best movie of the year. But that's going to do it for my ranking of all the 2022 comic book movies based on my excitement. Definitely let me know in the comments down below which comic book movies you are most excited to see this year. I'm sure The Batman and Multiverse of Madness will be most of your top answers. Make sure to hit the like button, and again, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my coverage of the comic book movies this year, movies in general, and just tons of content. I'm going to be pumping it out as much as I can in 2022. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.